Yeah, good morning, everybody. Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist. How are you all? I hope you're doing well. Let's do our proverb. Now, I just want you to know, I'll go back, hang on. I just want you all to know that I do these off the cuff. Everything I do, from the viewer's voice and everything else, I'm reading it for the first time and I'm doing it with you, my viewers. It's not pre-studied, it's not pre-planned, it's not anything. We're just going to get into it together and see how we end up. How's that for exciting? No mucking around here. You can see we've got a bit of a different system. I've got a system on the right side. I've got a system on the left side. I'm doing the Proverbs. At the moment, we're having a problem on this system because we can't get the audio sound off the computer to mesh with the editing thing. So I'm going to do the Proverbs without any audio required from the computer on this one, and then we'll go across to the viewer's voice on the other one. Let's go. Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 9. Better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than one who honors himself but lacks bread. I want to read that again. Better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than he who honors himself but lacks bread. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? It can have many different reasons, but if we make a New Testament application, or one New Testament application of that, we can say, better is one who is slighted but has a servant. Now, what that means is leaders who take accountability. Leaders, or people in leadership, or parents even, who take accountability. Now, say for instance, when Jesus went to the cross, he was slighted. They accused him, they abused him, they tore his beard out. Do you know they tore his beard out? Let's go to the Psalm and just let me make a correction. It's Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 6, where Jesus says, prophetically, I offered my back to those who beat me. That was when he was whipped. My cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. My cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. The part that a lot of people miss, not only was Jesus beaten to smithereens and whipped and horribly treated and punished, they also tore out his beard, and he said, I did not hide my face from mocking and spitting. Now remember, they spat on him. Let's just have a look. Bear with me. Let's just study together. I know it's a little bit different this morning, but let's just go through this together. I'm sure you enjoy it. Let's go up to, we'll try spit. I put spat, but we'll try spit. Terrible word, isn't it? Spit. Oh, terrible. Okay. Here's some. Matthew 26:67. Then they spit in his face and struck him with their fists. This is what happened to the Lord Jesus Christ. Others slapped him. So he was spat in the face. He was struck with people's fists. Oh, terrible. Others slapped him. Matthew 27:30, a little bit on from that. They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again and again and again. Now, I just want you to take into consideration something here. What we don't realize is Jesus, he had to be, whether we like it or not, he had to be God in the flesh. He had to be, because God had to take accountability as a human for what happened in the garden. Adam, when he ate, as we know, those who follow my videos, ate deliberately. He ate because he loved, because he was a type of Jesus Christ. Romans chapter 5 verse 14. So Adam did the right thing when he ate, because greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for a friend. Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it, when you think about it? Our identity comes from somebody that loves, not somebody that's silly or stupid. From somebody that loved. And see, 99% of Christendom doesn't realize that when Adam ate, he did something that was not much far different from what Jesus did when he died on the cross. The problem in the difference is Adam went into descent. Jesus, for love. He gave up everything and went into descent for love. When Jesus ate, he come out of the grave. He went into descent, but being God in himself, he come up out of the grave for love. Now, what I'm trying to say is, God in human form let us spit on him, let us punch him in the head, let him strike his body with a rod again and again and again. Why? Because he took accountability also, more so than what we need to. This is where we get it all mixed up. We think we need to take accountability for sin. Oh gosh, it's not even our fault. You've got to wake up to that. Get rid of your pride. That's not our fault. Is that my way of saying, well, you don't have to be accountable? No, it's not. But it's not your fault. This is why Jesus died on the cross. This is why Jesus took away our sin. Because God, in the form of man, in the fullness of the Godhead in bodily form, the Lord Jesus Christ, God walking around in a body, bringing himself out of time and placed out of eternity and placing himself into time, and see, it was the only way that he could die, the only way that God, who was eternal, could experience death, was to use, as it were, a human body, his son's body, to get into death, because God can't die. But if he's in a human body, he can die. He can get down to where he needed to go in the underworld. So God allowed us to punish him for what happened with the devil, because God created the devil, didn't he? And it just goes to show that these people that try to reduce Jesus to an angel or some kind of limited being have no comprehension of what happened at the cross. None whatsoever. Let's go back to our verses. Mark 7:33. After he took him aside, away from the crowd. Now Jesus did some spitting too. Watch this. Jesus put his fingers into the man's ear. Then he spit and touched the man's tongue. And the man could speak. Why did he spit and touch the man's tongue? It's bizarre, isn't it? Well, when God made man, he made him out of the mud. He made him out of the mud. Mud's wet, isn't it? He took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. Then he spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him. And Jesus said, "Do you see anything?" Excuse me. In another account of that, let's just see if we can see it. Well, here's another one. They mocked him, spit on him, flogged him, and killed him. See, on the one hand, when Jesus spat, he healed us. Then that's the right hand. On the left hand, when we spat, we wanted him dead. So he spat to bring life and health. We spat to have him put on the cross. So better is the one who is slighted for his servant. Now that's exactly what God allowed himself to be. He allowed himself to be slighted for us. And we've got religions giving us the impression, not all of them, but some of them, giving us the impression that we have to run around and be slighted to prove something to God. All you're doing is taking away from the finished work of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's all you're doing. And you have to grasp that, because then guess what? You can get out and live. Watch. You can get out and live. Everything's being done for time and eternity through the Lord Jesus Christ. Now let's go to the second part of this good proverb today, isn't it? Better is one who is slighted, but has a servant, than he who honors himself, but lacks bread. Now, servant and bread are the connected words here, aren't they? They're the connected words. Now, because in those days, the servants used to provide the cooking and the stuff for their masters, didn't they? So the one who honors himself but lacks bread. Now, this is what we're finding in a lot of religious organisations today. A lack of accountability. And the servants are chucking the towel in these organisations, and they're saying, we want nothing to do with it no more. Because you're honouring yourself. You're not putting Jesus where he should be. We can see it. We can feel it. We're on the end of it. It's hurting us. It's hurting you. It's hurting us. You're not taking accountability. We're not want anything to do with it anymore. Now, the point's this. If you leave your religious organisation, are you leaving God? Are you leaving Jehovah? Are you leaving Jesus? No. It's no different to walking out of a supermarket. Sure, you're going to leave friends behind and all the rest of it, but you've got a responsibility, a duty of care for yourself. And it's much more important than the needs and wants of a religious organisation, be what it may. Now, this passage, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to say it, has everything to do with the governing body of the Jehovah Witnesses. They honour themselves in this sense. They will not admit the Watchtower and Tract Society mistakes. All they had to do was say, we got 1914 wrong, we're sorry, this is the truth. We're sorry about the blood doctrine, although I think they'd go to prison and the place would get shut down if they ever admit that. We're sorry about this, we're sorry about that, but they will not say sorry. They will not admit their mistakes. And that's why there is a great exodus out of that horrible, wicked cult. And that's why the normal society and the normal scholastic world of Christians and the scholars have had to declare this organisation as a cult, because it will not bend into the truth. Now, it runs around saying it's got the truth and all this and that. Anybody can do that. Anybody. But if you're misleading people and the whole world sees it, then you're just lacking. You're perverse. You're demented. You've got something wrong with you. You're deliberately lying and you're deliberately deceiving people and leading them astray against what Jesus did for us. He was spat at, he was flogged, he was beaten again and again and again. They tore out his beard. You name it. He did it for us so that we could be free, so that we could sit. Today we're going to have a family barbecue. We're just going to have a family barbecue with the... Isn't that wonderful? Because Jesus took my beating that I could have his blessing. Jesus took my sickness that I could have his health. Jesus took my punishment so that I could have his forgiveness. And so on and so on and so on and so on. Jesus committed himself to God so that through him I can have freedom to live and speak to God whenever I want, just as a friend, not out of compulsion. So better is the one who is slighted but has a servant. And for us, the application of that for us is just be accountable, be transparent, and be honest. There's nothing else that you can do. But there is nothing worse than a person of denial. A person that shuts their ears to what may help them. A person that shuts their ears to reason. And this is, unfortunately, as I'm learning from the wonderful ex-Jehovah Witness community, is how the Watchtower gets you. They deprogram you from your ability to critically think. But if you're slighted, better is the one who is slighted. If you have to be slighted to become a better person, to find out what you really need to know, then you're going to have people rally around you. You're not going to be on your own. Whoever you are listening right now, you are not going to be on your own. There's a whole community out there that'll you'll be able to interact with and communicate with. And it's therapeutic. It'll lead to your healing and to your re-empowerment. This is the beautiful message of Christ, in the sense that even though you're broken and you're scared and it's going to cost you a lot probably, Jesus is there. He was there all along. And there is a community, and I know that as a theologist, a wonderful community of ex-Jehovah Witnesses, and I'm speaking to the Jehovah Witnesses right now, that are there for you to talk with, interact with, and to learn from about what's happened and why and how to get better. Better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than he who honors himself but lacks bread. On the one hand, you have a transparent person that's willing to take accountability for anything that it takes for the betterment of people. On the other hand, you have the one who honors themselves, and everyone goes without. They miss out on the bread. Now, who is the bread? Come with me, please. Who is the bread? Let's do this together. So we type in bread. Bread. Bread of life. We can go one step further if we want, but we'll rush up to the Gospels section. Bread. John's the great bread gospel, isn't it? John, come on. John 20. John 6, verse 35. Then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger, will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. Not only does he give you the food that you need for your soul and your mind and the contentment and the peace and the fact that everything's all right, he just soothes your need, your soul's need for water. He gives you the bread and the water of the soul. That's the Lord Jesus Christ. And you get it simply because you believe. Now, I can be walking in this direction on my walk or doing my work, and I don't have to force my belief. I don't have to force it. I've said I believe, and I do believe. Now I clear my mind of all that and get on with what I've got to do and live. We force ourselves in this belief, oh, we've got to prove our belief, we've got to do this. No. Jesus is the author and finisher of our faith. And he declared, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. So, better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than he who honors himself but lacks bread. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now. Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.